Hey, welcome back, everybody. I'm going to be going through part 3 of the TikTok clone tutorial. Where we left off in the last tutorial was that we established a refresh button, which is hidden here to refresh the video feed. And we also did some custom actions and whatnot to display an advertisement based upon every 10 swipes by a user using local variables on the user's device. So in this tutorial, got a couple of things that we need to go over. First of all, we need to create the advertisement that is displayed whenever a user triggers that advertisement. And to do so, we are going to use a bottom sheet. So we can go ahead and create that real quick. And I'm just going to use this one. I'm going to pretty much delete everything out of it. Just use the bottom sheet. And I'll just call it advertisement pop-up. And I'm going to get rid of that and get rid of that. And I'll leave the column in there. But I am going to bring it down some and bring it in. As a matter of fact, let's do 12. Okay, so I'm going to go back before doing anything further with that. I'm actually going to go ahead and, whoops, that's not for that. Page view, I'm going to go ahead and trigger that bottom sheet. Which again, if the ad swipe count is equal to or greater than 10, that'll trigger that bottom sheet. If you haven't watched tutorial number 2, then I'd recommend that you go ahead and do that so that you can get up to speed as to what we're doing here. So I'm going to just choose that advertisement, and I am going to tap non-dismissible because I don't want them to swipe that away. I'm going to put a delay on it. And I'm going to have it take up, probably do 70% of the screen. Will be good. Okay, so that's set. So I'm going to go ahead back over here. And I think what I want to do, actually going to scoot that down some more on the top. Maybe more than that. Okay, and get rid of that. I don't want that on there. All right, and then in this column, I'm going to add another container. And I'm going to set, I'm just going to scoot this down for now. And I'm going to change its background so that I can see what I'm working with, but I'll change that back to white here in a minute. All right, and actually that needs to go even further down than that. That's still in the way. Okay, that'll work for now. And let's see here. Actually, I take that back. I'm changing my mind on how I want to do this. Scoot that down and use this column here. And in this column, I'm going to add a row, and I actually want that on top. And I'm going to scoot over there to the right, and I'm going to add a button. And I'm going to set that as close ad. And we'll just, that'll work. Okay. And then what I want to do now is actually don't want that to be available immediately to the user. So I'm going to put another row inside that row. I'm actually going to bump that back some. Put some text in here real quick. And let's go back down in here to that row. And I'm going to put a timer in there. And we'll have a countdown. I'm just going to change that to seconds. And I'll just leave it as 10 seconds. That'll be fine. And let me duplicate that and move it to the other side of the timer. There we go. Okay, so we got that in there, and then this, we want to set this, I'm going to turn the loading icon off, and we're going to set the disable option. And then as the variable for when it's disabled, I'm going to do a single condition. I'm going to go in here and select my timer time, milliseconds from widget state. What I'm going to do is greater than specific value 0. So that if the timer is anything greater than 0, this button will be disabled, but as soon as that becomes 0, this button will be available. And then my disabled color, I'm probably just going to set the background to white. Yeah, actually, let's actually do it as gray. That'll work. Okay, and then once that is available, then it'll be a dismiss bottom sheet. And after we dismiss the bottom sheet, then, well, actually, let's do another action. Let's run it before the dismissing of the bottom sheet just to make sure it goes through without any issues. We're going to update the app state, and we're going to update, do you want to do add last seen, set the value as global properties current time. And add swipe count, we can go ahead and we'll just clear the value on it, and then we will do we'll clear the value on that as well. So that just resets everything back to 0. Okay, and then we'll dismiss the bottom sheet, which will get rid of that ad. All right, so now we can actually scoot this back up quite a ways. I'm just going to go to 8. Make it a little bit bigger here. And I'm going to change this color back to white. Okay, so just to explain real quick why I added a container here and placed this timer within this container rather than having everything all in one container. It's because this container is actually going to be performing a backend query, to an advertisements collection to be able to display an advertisement here. And if you place a timer within a backend query, because it is technically linked to a local state, you'll throw an error that won't let you proceed unless you wrap the timer in a widget and generate dynamically that way. So I don't actually want this timer to be generated dynamically. I don't want it tied to the query at all. The time is going to stay the same no matter what the advertisement is on the background or back end. And you can set this timer to whatever you want it to when you're designing this. But I placed this timer inside this outer box container because this outer container is not going to be generating a query. Just this inner container will be. And that way I avoid throwing any sort of errors. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add a query on this container here, and I'm just going to do query collection, and I'm going to do advertisements, and I'm going to query all because I don't want to assign it to a specific advertiser. I'm not going to hide it. I do just want a single document. And filter, let's see here. I'm going to do is active is equal to true. And let's see. Okay. So that should be good. So let's get rid of that. And we'll just have it be kind of random here. We'll do single time query. Okay. All right. So now that's taken care of. So I'll squeeze this in here real quick. All right. So in this container, I'm just going to do a column and probably just going to do just do a row. Oops. Come on now. And text. Make that a little bigger. Set this to the advertisement. Did I not set that in there? Looks like I did not. Okay, so I didn't give a name for the advertiser. Okay, so I guess I'll just get rid of that and we'll just do a video instead, so that'll be fine. So I'm going to throw the video widget in here, and I'm just going to use the one that FlutterFlow offers for the time being. Still working on the other one. Let's see, where's it at? There it is. And we will assign this to the video. And turn loop video off. Turn that off. And turn that off. And we will turn autoplay on, but not right now because I don't want it to play the little filler right there. Okay, and then make that a little bigger. And now we'll do a row down here. And we can plug some text in there. It's just kind of a little short description. And I'm going to duplicate that row. And I am going to, let's see here, I need icon. I'll put that in there. I'll do that. Set that as the contact email. And duplicate again. We'll set this one as phone. Yeah, I don't really like that icon there. Let's try a different one. And we'll change this to contact phone. And we'll duplicate one more time and change this one to website. Okay. And we'll just let's do that. And we'll change this to the contact website. Maybe we'll space those out just a little bit more here. All right, and then I'm going to set conditional visibility on this. I'm going to do a single condition, and I'm going to go in here to contact email, and I'm going to set that to is set and not empty. So that way, if they don't put an email in, that won't be visible. And with that in mind, I actually just want to change this. Let's see, that's 4. So I just want to change that to 4. And we're actually going to change this to 16, just in case this is hidden. And I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go to contact phone, kind of do the same thing here, except we're going to do set this as contact phone. And then same thing here. Okay. All right. So that'll work. And now I need to change this height to a variable so that it can size up and down. And I need to make this column, my top column here, scrollable. Okay, that'll work. All right. There we go. All right, that should work. And I think I'll set this to auto size. Although it shouldn't be necessary, but we will do it anyway. And we do want this to expand. We're not going to expand these though. We'll let these auto size down. We'll leave this one the same since it'll expand. And autoplay. Okay, so now we got our advertisement set up, so that's good to go. All right. We could always set this to have an action if we wanted to. Probably not a bad idea. So we could go in here and we could set it up to send email. And the email address would be contact email. And then you could set these to whatever you want. just do whatever, doesn't really matter. Contact phone. Call number, obviously you set this value here to their contact phone, and then website, we would have this as launching a URL, and we'll do that from a variable as well and set that to contact website. Okay. I don't know why that's overhanging on the edge there. Seems to be a glitch or something. I'll look in my previewer here and see if that issue is persisting. Whoops. That's right, I'm not going to be able to do it that way. Shoot. Okay, well, let's see. Oops. There we go. That's just too big. I wonder if 12 would be too big. All right, that'll work. Okay, so that's taken care of. So we're all good to go here. So advertisement is set up. So now we can move on to adding information, icons and whatnot into this container, this container, this container. I do need to look. Whoops, not right there. Okay. So I've already got that generating. I just wanted to make sure. What do I have going on here? Okay. All right. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on to these other things here. Delete that. Okay, so let's start with the sidebar over here. So let's go ahead and add a column in here, and let's see here. So it looks like picture is first. I'm going to do this whole outline thing that it has. So let's put a container in here, and we're going to make it round, and we'll drop that size down to 45. Make that a little bigger. Okay, 55 will work. And we'll leave the background as white. And then let's put a circle image in there and pull that in. Let's do 4 all the way around. And I'm going to grab this container. And I'm going to go ahead and change it. I'm going to give it a little bit of a background there. And I'm going to kind of curve the outer edges on it just a little bit here. And then this column, I do want to bring this down some and up just a little bit. Maybe more than that. Let's do 8. Okay. That should work there. All right, so we have that. So the next thing that we want is a like button. And for this like button, we're actually going to do something a little different. A subscriber had brought to my attention that the toggle icon seems to be working now. I do remember back when I initially tried to use it quite some time ago that it would not update correctly to cause any sort of update actions to documents, and that seemed to be a pretty known issue, as the issue had been raised a few times in the community in FlutterFlow, but it looks like that's been resolved. I guess I missed an update somewhere in the midst of things as to where that was fixed. So the workaround that I'd been using, where you would use 2 different icons and hide or reveal them according to their respective status and whether a like or dislike had been triggered, is actually no longer relevant. So we can actually use the toggle icon, which cuts down on a lot of that those extra steps. So if you are using the workaround method, you can keep it that way if you want to. I mean, there's no problem in doing it that way. But if you haven't actually set up a like button yet, then maybe you would rather do it this way, since it is simpler. So first thing I actually need to do is go into my collections, go to my feed collection, add a likes field. And used to, we would add a likes, and we'd set that as an integer, as such, and then we do a liked by reference and set that as a list of users. But with the way that we're going to be doing it now, we actually don't need this likes integer field. Get rid of that. And we're just going to keep this list field liked by reference of users. And then we're going to go in here and grab our toggle icon. And we'll drop that into our row. And we'll worry about spacing here in a minute. And then we're going to set our off icon as a heart outline. And let's make that color, let's do this white, see how that looks. Okay, that'll work. And let's actually make that a little bigger as well. And then our on icon will be a heart, but we'll do it filled. And we'll set that to, I'll just do red. And let's make that bigger. Okay, all right, so for that, we're going to set our toggle value. We're going to go to our feed document here, and we're going to go to the liked by reference that we created and do list contains item, and then we'll select authenticated user. So if that list does contain the authenticated user, then the icon will be turned on, otherwise it'll be turned off. And we need to go ahead and set actions for this. So let's open this up. And we'll do, oops, that's not what I meant to do. Do a conditional action and go to our feed document here, select the liked by reference, list contains item, authenticated user. Okay, so if that is true, that the list does contain the authenticated user, we want to add an update action here to update the feed document. We'll grab its reference, We'll add a field and we'll set that field to liked by reference. And we'll set this to remove from set authenticated user. So if the list does contain the item, then we want obviously the toggle switch we turned on. When they tap it, we want it to turn off and remove them from that list. And let's just copy that action and paste it over here and change remove from set to add to set. And then we can add terminates here. Okay, so that's super simple for doing that. So I'm glad that's working correctly now. And actually, I want to grab another column here, and I want to move this toggle button into that column. And let's go over here to our widget tree and go to this column, and let's grab some text here, and let's change the text color. I'm going to change it to white, I think would be good, and I'm going to center that. Make that a little smaller. Okay. And we're going to set that. Go to our feed document. We're going to select our liked by reference here. And we're going to do number of items. We'll do number format, and we'll set that to compact. And then the default variable will be 0. All right, so that'll show the number of likes then. And let's go ahead and do that. Just kind of give some definition between the various items there. All right, so our like button is set up now. So the next thing that we want to add in here then is a comments button. So let's go ahead and let's actually just duplicate here. I'm going to duplicate this column. And we're going to change this. It's not actually going to be a toggle button. Delete that. In this column, let's add an icon button. It looks like we do need to make our container bigger, so let's go ahead and scoot that down some. And I actually want this to be on top. Let's do it over here. There we go. And we want to change the color of this. Change that to white as well. And let's do that one. Let's see here. Let's actually make this a little smaller of a button, but make the icon bigger to match with that icon there. Okay, that'll work. And so now we need to go over here to the collections. We need to go ahead and create comments. So let's add a new collection and call it comments, and it's going to be a sub collection of feed. And we need to add in some fields here. So we'll do date created. Do a created by reference. And we'll do content. And we're going to do a tagged user. And I'll show you what I'm going to do with that in just a second. So we'll set that as a user reference, and that should be good for that. All right, so we need to actually create the bottom sheet that'll pop up for the comments. So this won't actually do anything yet, but we do need to set the count. So we got our feed document here. Let's actually, we need to query those comments. Let's go to column, and let's do a query collection, and query comments from variable, which the parent variable will be this feed reference here. We don't want a list of documents, we just want a count. Which I've already got that set. Let's see. And a single time query is going to throw us off here. So that's going to take some thinking how to do that, because it's not going to be listening for updates. Go ahead and go in here real quick. Remove that. And set this as comments count, number format, compact, and 0. Okay, so we'll worry about that in a second, because it's going to kind of change how I'm doing everything. So, all right, so we'll just leave it alone. But that's giving us our count anyway. And we'll come back to this once we're ready to set up the bottom sheet for doing comments. So now we need to get the last part, and it looks like it's going to be like a favorites button. So that can be a toggle icon as well. So let's actually duplicate that. And I think it's all gonna fit. Maybe. Yeah. Okay. And then let's delete that. Go in here to this column and grab a toggle icon. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Move it back up to the top. Go. I didn't do it. Okay. And let's do the off icon. Oops. Okay. Maybe it's bookmark. There it is. So I'll do this one and do it as filled. Go ahead and increase the size on those. That is white, and do that as white. Okay, so let's go over here. I need to look real quick. I don't think I have anything saved in here. So we're going to do save by reference in the feed. We'll do that as a list of users. And then in the users document, we're going to do video saves. I'll do that as a list of feed documents. And let's go ahead and set this real quick. That's right, I'm still generating a query here. Get rid of that query. So we copied that. And saved by, list contains item. That's not what we want. Sorry. We want to do saved by reference, number of items. That's it. Compact and 0. All right. Now let's go up here and do our condition. We'll do our feed document, and we'll do save by reference, list contains item, authenticated user. If that is true, then we want to do an update to update the feed. First, grab that reference, and we'll do save by, remove from set, authenticated user. And we're going to do another update, and we'll update the authenticated user, and we'll set that saved list, video saves. We're going to do remove from set, feed document, and reference. And let's copy that action chain, paste it over here on this side, and just change this to add to set and add to set. Okay. All right. And of course we do want to set the toggle value and feed document saved by, list contains item, and authenticated user. Alrighty, so we've got all that set now. That's good to go. Now, let's see here. So I want to set, I'm going to grab this container that's encasing this photo, and I'm going to do a backend query. I'm going to do a document from reference, and we're going to grab users. Then we're going to go into the feed document, and we're going to do the created by reference, so we can get the creator's data into this into this feed document here. And then we can go to the circle image, and we can set the network path to users document and set it to the photo URL of that user. And if I remember correctly, on TikTok, there's like a little button here where you can add the follow them, which if we want to do it that way, let's see here, I could do a stack here, so I would need to, cut this. Paste it back into the stack, and then on that stack I could do a icon here and scoot it down. And we could do like, let's see what options we have here. So we could do this little circle add button. Make it something obvious like that. Okay. So no, it's not exactly like what TikTok has, but it'll work for what we're doing, I think. All right. I think that's it for adding to a followers list. So we haven't set any of that up yet. So we'll just leave that alone, come back to it and finish what we're doing here. So let's go ahead and actually add the description down here. Because I think that'll probably be helpful. So let's go ahead and get that done. All right, so we want to go back to our main level stack then. And let's go ahead and add another container. And let's move that down here. Yeah, right above our bottom menu there. And I'm actually going to go ahead and do the infinite. The width is infinite, but I am going to bring it in on the left side. Bring it in 20, I think is about right. And we'll change its color. Make it pretty transparent. Okay. And then I'm going to, let's go ahead and add a column in there. And let's set that not as 3, let's do it as 4. And then this top one, I'm going to do a row. And I'm going to do some text in there, and I'm probably just going to go ahead and set that as bold.